I chat with Marcus Bridge and find out what a Northlane themed video game would look like, his favourite Pokemon, which Perth band he'd love to collaborate with, and what regional Australia can expect from the upcoming Northlane tour. Check it out. And if you enjoy this podcast, please smash that subscribe button for more content with Australian and international heavy music royalty. Marcus Bridge, inspiring vocalist from the almighty Northlane juggernaut. Thank you so much for chatting with Express Magazine and also joining me on the AndoVocals podcast today. It's an incredibly massive honour to be sharing this moment with you, man. Before we dive into the heavy questions, you're rolling into Busselton on Friday, August 15, then Perth on Saturday, August 16, with Ocean Grove, Mirrors and Darkmatter in tow. If this tour were a heist movie, who's the loose cannon? Who's the brains, and who's accidentally blowing something up backstage?
Well, I mean, that's a good question. I reckon the Ocean Grove guys are a bit of loose cannons, you know. Yeah, they're pretty wild, a wild bunch. That being said, I reckon Josh in our band's probably organising the whole thing, organising the heist. But yeah, I'm not sure about the rest. I guess the other two would fill up those other spots.
Fantastic. What's the most memorable moment that's happened to Northlane during a West Coast set?
Ooh, that's a good question. You know what? It's probably not during a set, but there was one time where we played the Hi-Fi, I think it was. And there was like an after party after the show, and it was also like our last night of tour for the whole run.
Amplifier Bar, was it?
Oh, that's right. It was Amplifier Bar. That's the one. And pretty much, I got some mates over in Perth as well, and I ended up staying out until 6 a.m. until the place closed. Ended up like rolling back to the hotel as like our crew was heading to the airport to to head back home. So I feel like Perth's always a time where, you know, we let loose a little bit and have fun with the locals a bit.
Fantastic. Yeah, I must confess I wouldn't have the two kids and the lovely partner that I have now if it weren't for the Amplifier Bar at 5 a.m.
Lovely, that's great. You come together there, that's great.
You've collaborated with Ian Kenny from Carnival on your killer Mirror's Edge EP and Sean Hermanis from Make Them Suffer on a Slipknot cover with the Void of Vision crew. Who are some other Perth artists you'd love to one day collaborate with, Marcus?
Oh, that's a really good question. Damn, you put me on the spot there.
Testing your knowledge of the Perth scene.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there was a band, I'm not even sure if they're still around, but they used to be called I Said the Sparrow, and then now they would, I think, if they're still around, they're called Sparrow at the moment.
Yeah.
They're mates of mine from years back, from old bands, and I love that they've kind of turned into a full industrial metal kind of down the lines of Fear Factory and like Static X kind of vibes, which suit your background as well.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, I love that they just kind of flipped it and just kind of went off in a completely different direction. Yeah, all my knowledge of Perth bands is definitely from back when I was like starting up and kind of doing the local band scene stuff. So there's a lot of bands that I don't think are around anymore that I really love, but Sparrow's one that pops to mind.
You've toured the world, supported Slipknot and lit up Euro fests, yet you're still coming back to regional Aussie venues. What keeps you grounded and hungry to keep hitting places like Perth instead of chasing global arenas?
Well, I mean, there's always time for going around the world, and we always hit different spots around the world. But for us, like coming back to do the regional stuff and hitting up, you know, the local shows is kind of, it's where we all started, you know. Like I said, like from local bands kind of heading over to the West Coast, like it was, it's kind of, you got to show some respect to where you come from, you know. And we love playing the smaller shows and kind of bringing something that, you know, sometimes doesn't always make it over to Perth. I know a lot of bands, it is hard to get over there sometimes, so for us we always kind of make a point of, on the regional tours, or even just if we can fit it into the the capital city tour, we always try our best to come back to Perth, and that goes for everywhere on this run as well. Like, there's a lot of places that we're playing that we all grew up kind of going to shows there or playing shows, like such as like Panthers in Penrith, and even like places like Chelsea Heights in Victoria. Like, there's just all these spots that have kind of they were like milestone places for us, so it's kind of important to go back and make sure we're not like leaving it behind and reminding them that we still give a shit.
Darkmatter opening the Busselton and Perth shows adds a local twist. How important is it for you to give space to upcoming heavy artists in regions that often get skipped over?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's incredibly important to us, especially on the regional tours. I'm pretty sure always have a local opener, and Darkmatter are really cool. I was just checking them out earlier this week just to familiarize myself, and I mean, it's so awesome to see that there are heavy bands kind of trying to do something different and bringing these new elements in, for the modern age, whether that's electronic influences crossed with heavy. I think it's just so important to help build those bands up, give them an opportunity to reach a bigger crowd as well, and hopefully, especially for bands in Perth, give them a bit of leverage to come over to the East Coast. So it's really exciting to have a band like Darkmatter on this tour.
Legend. Thank you so much, Marcus, for indulging me with the Perth bias there. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So coming back to Mirror's Edge, it feels like it's a detour into cinematic intensity. Playing that material live, especially in a smaller sweatbox venue like Magnet House, how do you envisage balancing intimacy with all the incredible sonic dynamics on the EP?
Yeah, that's something we always have to consider when we're coming to do these kind of smaller shows. When we're writing this stuff, we always kind of imagine it as big as it can be, trying to think about also how the visuals and all of that will work together to make the show work. But for me, it's like when you come back to a smaller venue and it's really just about the music, and it's about the energy in the room and making sure that the crowd are like feeling that and having a good time. When we're writing music, it's always about how it's going to come off live, and I think that's both in terms of the show, but also in terms of how our ability to play it and our ability to kind of translate that into a live setting. So in the end, I feel like the regional shows are really about just the intensity of the music and making sure that everyone's having a good time, everyone's moving, and that's something you just see on the regional runs, because if they're not getting as many shows as the capital cities, they're really like eager and hungry for whatever bands are coming through. So it's really exciting to play these new songs live, and I can't wait to play them in these smaller venues and see people go a bit crazy.
Do we perhaps see a guest performance?
Oh my goodness! I mean, I would love that if you're hinting at what I think you're hinting. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Ian's in. Does Ian live in Perth? I don't even know.
Not even sure, mate. No.
If not,
last time I saw him, he was down in Dunsborough. Walking into the local shopping centre. I'm like, gave him a nod. Legend of a dude.
Absolutely. Obviously we'd love to have him out to do that, but even if not, when we're playing some of those songs that have a guest vocal spot, we do try to either bring someone else in from one of the supporting bands to kind of fill that spot, or I'll just end up singing it. But I guess we are mates with the Ocean Grove guys as well, so maybe that's something we could kind of have a special live show only guest vocals. So we'll see how we go. Now I've said that, now I better have a chat to Dale.
Good stuff. So just recently, Welcome to the Industry dropped as part of the soundtrack for Fretless, the Wrath of Riffson, and it's an absolute fucking belter, man. I love it. If you had to create a Northlane video game, what would it look like?
Oh, honestly, it would probably just look like Cyberpunk, to be honest, 2077. I feel like that's our kind of, that futuristic kind of cyborg, technology-focused video game. I think that's the kind of energy we like. And I know John's played the hell out of that game as well. So I feel like John in particular, he's always joking about just going full cyborg, getting mods to kind of turn him into a cyborg. So I feel like something that's got some kind of character building where you're getting tech added to you, that's definitely our kind of vibe.
Dig it, man. Love the sci-fi. So are you much of a gamer yourself, Marcus?
I am, but I'm pretty casual with most of what I mean, I like to play kind of games I can just pick up, play for 20 minutes, half an hour, and then put down. I feel like my attention span isn't very good. So I've been playing like a lot of Marvel Rivals at the moment, which I feel like is real easy, fun game. Play a couple of rounds, get frustrated, put it down for a little bit, and then come back to it a bit later. I like Fortnite. I like just simple kind of jump in, jump out kind of games. But I know like Nick and John, they're deep into the story lore kind of games. I know, John loves completing a game to 100% and just exploring every inch of the game. So that's more his kind of vibe. But for me, I'm just super casual, just something to take my mind off things.
For sure, man. That's awesome. I haven't personally busted open my Steam account in over a decade, but I might have to change that when Fretless drops on May 22.
Absolutely.
So my question is, how did that opportunity come about for the band?
Well, we were just really lucky. We just got approached by Rob and also the company putting it together. I think the whole premise of the game is that they wanted to have it mixed with, a bunch of YouTube personalities as well as heavy bands and other kind of musicians in the scene that would kind of help set these different tones for the game. And we were kind of given the task of writing the villain's theme. So I think they must have heard our music, known there was a bit of a darker side to it, and kind of gave us a challenge of writing something that was from the perspective of the villain. So that's it was a really cool opportunity and something we wouldn't, in terms of writing a song, it's not a topic we would usually be approaching, I guess. I guess being the bad guy isn't something that I like to write about, So it was a fun challenge, and it was just honestly just a lucky opportunity.
This is the last chance fans will get to catch you before you bunker down and get to work. Are you going into that writing phase with a definitive plan, or are you approaching it with more of an open mind?
I think we always approach writing with an open mind. I mean, I think the beauty of Northlane as well is that we've always kind of gradually been building on what we've done before, and it has never been like too dramatic a shift. And I think with that in mind, it means that we can kind of just keep on doing whatever we want to do. I think it's also just the fact that bands can kind of divert and go into maybe a softer direction, or a direction that's maybe quite different from what they've done before, and it kind of just keeps going in that trajectory, which works for some bands as well. But for us, I think we've been able to kind of tread between the light and the dark, but never kind of never leave any of that behind. So that means we can write like a softer or more electronic song, but then we'll still be able to put out a heavy song and it not feel too strange. I think it's really important to us that when we're writing music, it's like it still embodies everything that we've built on over the years, but while still kind of trying to step forward and add new elements and hopefully create something still new and unique, but without leaving everything we built on behind.
Awesome. So if we peeked at the whiteboard in the Northlane war room right now, what themes or sounds are floating at the top for the next chapter? Do you have any hints? Or are we going to be completely in the dark up until the drop, mate?
Well, we've been slowly chipping away at stuff, but yeah, we've been making sure to give ourselves some breathing room and not kind of putting too much of a time constraint on what we're doing, which we did with Mirror's Edge as well. We kind of made sure we had enough time to really be sure of the songs. We didn't rush anything, and I think we're just trying to do the same this time around. That being said, it's some of the stuff I've heard so far that John's been working on, we've been kind of back and forthing on. It is like still heavy, but I think we've kind of brought a bit more of that electronic element back to it while still having it be quite heavy, like songs like Craft and stuff like that off the new EP. So yeah, it's really hard for me to say because, like I said, we kind of have always been picking and choosing parts of our whole sound over the years to kind of build something new. So it might be a bit of a wait and see situation.
So, yeah, I like surprises, so looking forward to hearing it, man. I feel your lyrical content and underlying messages explored in Node and Mesmer and Obsidian, just as examples, are now more relevant than ever given the current world political climate. What are your thoughts on the current state of things, Marcus?
Oh goodness, that is a heavy question. I mean, it's not great, but I still try to look at everything as positively as I can. I know a lot of people are feeling pretty doom and gloom about a lot of what's going on at the moment, both overseas and at home. But I think there are still, I think it's telling by what the people are saying, if that makes sense. I think people are starting to cotton on and catch on to people, to these people in the high positions, really just trying to take advantage of people, and as their like lies and their kind of their misdirection is kind of falling through. I think people are really turning on and being like, okay, this isn't right, and I think people are wanting change, and I think that's really important. I think is something that I just hope happens and starts to happen is that people aren't so like cutthroat on everything and stop attacking each other and start kind of focusing their annoyance and their I don't want to say hate, because I don't think hate's a good thing to spread, but that kind of their feelings towards what it should be directed towards, not towards each other. I think it's quite sad to see people really just at each other as opposed to the higher up people, and that's something that I'm just hoping will shift. But even still, I feel like the world is slowly starting to open their eyes a bit and see that, you know, a lot of powerful, rich people are kind of manipulating a lot of the world. So that's as vague as I can kind of put it without being too direct, you know. But in the end, I like to try and still look at stuff positively, and as much as I can, still to spread that as opposed to spreading negativity. So hopefully people can start just being a bit kinder to each other, being a bit giving people a bit of leeway to, as opposed to just cutting people's opinions down, maybe trying to have a conversation, and even if they're disagreeing, you know, just trying to understand where each other's coming from, and maybe just disagree and walk away, as opposed to hating everyone. Obviously that's kind of straying a bit less away from the political side of it, but I feel like it's all pretty tied together.
Yeah, or approach those opinions with a sense of curiosity rather than just black and white, you know, said cutting them down.
Absolutely. You don't want to just shut that conversation down, because then nothing is going to get solved. No one's going to understand each other. It's just going to be more division, which I feel like we're more divided than ever at the moment, and I think we really need to be moving back towards a bit of unity.
100%, man. So, Marcus, something I've always wanted to say to you, and I'm absolutely stoked I get to say it to you today, man. Alien is one of my favourite albums of all time, and it was an incredible shift for Northlane's sound. What did it mean to you back in 2020 to release an album so visceral and cathartic?
Yeah, that was a scary time, I guess. I mean, it was all very personal, and I think it was something that at the time I don't think I had the confidence to know how that was going to go, and to kind of understand that it would catch on as it did. For me, that is like one of the things I'm most proud of creating with Northlane. Just for myself, I think it was a big step in, accepting a lot of things that had happened in my past, and I think it helped me grow not only as a person but as like a musician as well, to know that like being open and talking about things that might be scary to talk about can be quite helpful, not only for myself but for people listening. There was like there's some tough times, I guess, with some family and stuff, kind of not really understanding where I was coming from and thinking that it was out of line to be talking about these things. But for me, I think the good that it has done for people, at least from people I've spoken to who have connected with it, as well as just for my own kind of mental health and acceptance of that stuff, it was a complete life changer, to be honest. And I think there was a period afterwards where I was still a bit scared to kind of go any deeper into that stuff. One, to not feel like I was like taking advantage of something that people might like. The idea of continuing to talk about this tragic stuff, and feeling like because I knew people connected to that I should keep doing it. That was kind of scary for me. I didn't want to kind of feel like I was taking advantage of people's like trust and understanding of what I was trying to talk about, but also not wanting to, I guess, get into those sticky conversations with family and stuff by going too literal with it, because there are songs like Free Fall and Bloodline and Eclipse that are quite raw and pretty direct. So I think that was something it kind of scared me a little bit, but as moving forward, I think I've just found other ways to channel that and approach that in new ways with our music. That makes sense.
Absolutely does make sense, Marcus. And obviously I can't speak for all Northlane fans, but I can only convey my own opinions. And I just want to thank you so much for being so vulnerable in releasing such an amazing record. Just my heart goes out to you, man. So I'll lighten the mood. What's the most cursed thing that's ever happened to your in-ear monitors, mate?
Cursed thing? Oh dear. Oh, actually, it's not. Yeah, I mean, so when we're playing live, we usually have like talkback monitors for John and Josh either side of stage if something goes wrong, so they can kind of directly talk to either front of house or our crew on the side of stage. But it's always muted in my ears because if I need anything, I'll just point at my ears or whatever. But there's definitely been occasions where like crew is just having a full-on conversation just between each other. I'm trying to sing and like all I can hear is them. So I'm like trying to focus on a click, my own voice, while there's like a conversation louder than everything in my headphones. So that's probably the worst thing that's happened. I've got one though for Josh though, which I love telling this story. There was a period of time where he would like crowd surf during the last song before the encore. So it's meant to be, like big moment, and then you kind of come off stage, we walk off, and the mystery of an encore, what's going to happen. But what happened this time was he's crowd surfing with his guitar on, and then gets brought back to stage, but his in-ear pack has fallen off while he was crowd surfing. So when we're all walking off trying to be mysterious and yeah, what's happening next? He's at the front of the stage talking into my mic, being like, "Hey everyone, I've just dropped my Indian. If anyone finds a little pack on the ground, if you could just head up to stage, that would be awesome." And I think from then he just never crowd surfed again, unless it was like a really, really special occasion. I feel like after that he was like, "All right, I can't have that happen again."
That's classic, man. What's on your rider that would confuse a promoter?
What's on our rider? Actually, I don't think it's actually on our rider. We kind of put it as a joke on our rider, but the last couple of tours, Nick, John, and I got super into Pokemon cards, both like collecting them and playing them. But I'm not sure if you're too familiar with like the old school boosters and stuff, but we would just jokingly put on our list like 10 times jungle first edition booster packs, which are like the rarest booster pack you can get. So it's obviously never turned up, but I'm sure people look at that and think, "Oh my gosh, what are they asking for?" That being said, I think we should just put Pokemon cards on, like a couple of boosters on the rider. That might be the good one.
That's cold, man. So, what is your favorite Pokemon?
I mean, I feel like it's a stock answer. Is it Charizard and the Charmander line? But I feel like being someone who grew up with it, as opposed to being like a younger kid now, I have the right to have that as my favorite Pokemon. I think that's like the generic answer for a lot of people, but because that was the Pokemon I grew up with, and I remember seeing Charizard out in the forest with his tail about to go out. Like, I was there, so I feel like I have the right to have Charizard and the Charmander line as my favorite. So, yeah, that's me.
Love it, man. Are you much of a Pokemon Go fan at all?
I've actually been a bit more into the Pokemon Pocket, the TCG kind of minigame version of it. Nick, though, our drummer, he loves it. He's still so deep into it. It's crazy. I kind of stopped playing it a few years back.
Me too.
Yeah, last couple of tours, Nick's got his phone out, walking around. I'm like, "What are you're still playing Pokemon? You're still playing Pokemon Go?" Oh my gosh. But it's still going strong, apparently.
Yeah, I would say my favorite Pokemon in my index would have to be the dark, shiny Mewtwo. I'm pretty impressed with that. I love that one.
Yeah. Nick's definitely a psychic kind of guy as well. So I'm sure he's got a couple of them floating around.
That's awesome. So, Marcus, it wouldn't be an episode of the AndoVocals podcast if I didn't ask you what your pre-gig warm-up routine is. Can you shed some light on that one?
Yeah, I can give you a little idea of that. I mean, it's pretty simple, to be honest. It's like a couple of exercises. One is just like an ung sound, like a ung, which is really like, it's just like a really light kind of start to the warm-up. And then it goes into like so that's like it's an ung sound that's going through like a scale, so it's pretty simple. All of this as well, I was taught by Peter Vox from Vox Singing Academy in Melbourne, and he's awesome. He kind of gave me all of these tips and warm-ups. And then that goes into a like wee sound, like a wee, and kind of doing the same thing, going through the scales. Then after that, I just do like a bit of like a jaw exercise to kind of just loosen the jaw, which is pretty much just me like opening my mouth up really wide, like downwards, and then doing that for like imagining I'm doing a scale, so kind of going like and then doing that with like a smile shape as well, which has really helped, particularly as I'm getting older. I'm actually feeling those muscles in my cheeks kind of, if I don't do that, like I get really tight, and it's like I can't like kind of get the the words out exactly how I want to. So it's kind of become pretty crucial. And then after that, it's just like a yeah kind of thing, which is just like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's all in like full voice. It sounds really gross and Aussie the whole time as well. Like it's I really put the like yeah on it. But that starts like clean, and I go up the scale, bring it down again, and then I do that same scale but adding like a little bit of grit to it. And then that's pretty much my warm-up. That'll take me about 20 minutes, 25 minutes before a show. And then afterwards I'll do those first 2 exercises as like a warm down as well, just like a light warm down to just make sure I'm fresh for the next day. I've been pretty lucky, I guess, that I have been able to do such a light warm up, and because it's really interesting that it is mostly like a singing warm up. But for me, that's just with like enough preparation before a tour as well. Like that's kind of all that really I need, because that kind of does warm up everything that I'm doing, and that warm up at the end that gets a bit more gritty. That's kind of where it helps bring some of that rasp and warming up that screaming area. Yeah, I mean, but everyone's different. I mean, I know a bunch of vocalists who don't even warm up. It was just amazing. I'm pretty sure I've heard that like Corey Taylor doesn't warm up. He'll like yell a couple of times. He'll just talk shit backstage a lot and do like a little bit of stuff, but like that's just all natural for him, you know. So
curse him.
Yeah. Exactly. Some people are just blessed with that kind of thing. So
thank you so much for giving us an insight into your vocals and your warm up and whatnot. So just, do you use like a steam mask or anything like that?
I do. I did actually on the last US tour we did. Just because I think it was just like a really dry tour actually, and I did kind of lose a bit of my range early on in the run. Just I think we had like it was like 7 or 8 shows in a row, like straight off the bat, and by like the last couple of shows of playing like an hour and 10 minutes every day, it was just plus the dry weather. It was like I had to just look at some remedies. But yeah, I've been using the old Pure Mist. That's the one. I think they've got them in pharmacies in Australia. If not, I got mine at like a CVS in the US while I was there. But it's awesome. It was actually such a game changer the first time I used it, and since I've had it and when my voice has been healthy, it's just like it's almost part of the warm-up now. It's kind of helps just bring moisture into my throat and just making sure I'm not drying out while I'm up there. So it's really good.
Awesome, man. Thank you for sharing that with us. Make sure those who are aspiring young vocalists treat themselves properly and jump on the end of a steam mask. I think it's super important. Last of all, was there anything you wanted to mention about the overall tour?
I guess nothing in particular, just that, can't wait to get back over to Perth. Hopefully they don't keep me out until 6 in the morning again, but I'm looking forward to it. It's always a good time in Perth. They always have a good time over there, so really looking forward to it.
Thanks again, Marcus. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you, man. All the best, and we'll see you here in Busselton at Shelter Brewing Company on Friday, August 15. Then the next night here in Perth at Magnet House. Can't wait, man. It's going to be epic.
Yeah, then, Andy. Thanks a lot.